What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. So, Dynamite's going to be happening here in around an hour. And I've seen the plans. Tony Khan really, most of the afternoon, spamming up the inboxes of a bunch of people and also the Twitter sphere, announcing most of his match card. And I talked about the trios match, which presumably is going to be the main event with Hangman Adam Page teaming with Powerhouse Hobbs and Mark Briscoe to take on the Death Riders, which is Claudio, Mox, and Wheeler. But some of the other matches that got announced on this show just show me everything that I was concerned about, even with all the goodwill. And let me be clear, I praised AEW. I thought the first 2 hours of the show were kind of dog shit, but in large chunk, All in Texas was a success. Like, they had 25 to 30,000 people in a baseball stadium, and that's worth something. And I might have dismissed it, but it means something. But to follow up your WrestleMania with that match that I said, throwing two guys who were in a Texas death match on Saturday into a match, you also you do have Tony Storm in her victory speech. You announced another all-star 8-man tag. Another all-star 8-man tag. Like, are you kidding me? You have Bandito, Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey and Brody King. Good to see Brody King keep getting TV time. Taking on Josh Alexander, Hechicero, and the Young Bucks, who are no longer the EVPs. So we're moving really conveniently off of that storyline. Some people might be asking, why isn't Takeshita in this match after his match with Bandito? I think he's going to the G1, so he's out of the country. But seriously, another 8-man tag. Can they go a week without doing this? Another thing that bothered me, Kyle Fletcher, who lost the match that everybody thought he should win, he's facing Mascara Dorado. Why? I don't know. And it might be a 50-50 match, and Kyle Fletcher should be furious. And I mean, yeah, maybe he'll show some aggression in this match, but he shouldn't be having just a random match against somebody that has no bearing to him. It's illogical. And then the other cardinal sin of Tony Khan booking, and I told you guys, I was like, I didn't have confidence that Tony was going to be able to follow up this show with anything compelling. So what does he do? He throws 4 women into a $100,000 4-way fight, as they're calling it, with Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, who do have history, so there's a story there, and Tekla and Queen Aminata. But you're throwing them into a random 4-way with a qualifier saying they're going to win money. So we're just using fake money? It's like, why not have, Stat and Willow try to, build their relationship back, or, Tekla and Aminata have a singles match that, hey, could have some sort of a screwy finish to start this feud. And instead they're throwing them all in a mindless 4-way that, yeah, you may get some storytelling out of it, but is that really the you've labeled it as a $100,000 4-way fight, and you're just doing this. It's like, we have money fights, we have all-star 8-man tags, a random match and I understand, hey, there is a Forbidden Door thing, but like, Kyle Fletcher should have won that match on Saturday. So there's no follow-up on that. I mean, at least we're going to get Adam Copeland on this show, so we'll get a follow-up on Christian. Hangman, we'll see what his direction is, and Timeless Tony Storm as well. But this card, everybody's saying this is godly, and I'm like, this is basically embracing the sickos. This is literally it doesn't, and I saw a couple people on the internet saying, yeah, AEW just has to have a regular Dynamite tonight. I was like, no, they don't. No, they don't. This is the first show after your WrestleMania, which was basically the end of your season. You're starting over now and starting to tell new stories. And the solution that you have shown is that you still have no plan and you haven't learned anything. And you're going out there doing the same shit, all-star 8-man tags, throwing your main eventers into random 6-man schmazes, putting a bunch of people, this time the women, in a match for an inordinate sum of money. Trios matches, all-star tags. It's the same shit. And I already said this about, that trios match, which is presumably going to be the main. Like, Hangman and Moxley literally fucking killed each other on set. It was a death match. And 4 days later, they're good enough to compete. Nobody's selling. Mercedes Moné, I know some people are going to, hope that she sells the move. And maybe she does, or maybe we continue that feud with Tony Storm. I don't know. But this does not scream of a company that has any direction or any vision off of what seemed like, and I have the quote here from the PR office of Dave Meltzer. The Wrestling Observer basically was saying many AEW talent feel very, very happy with All In Texas, and there's a sense the company has turned things around. But wait a minute. Tony Khan said they're in the best place they've ever been. So what's their need to be turned around? But see, this is the stuff that I'm talking about. The messaging and the process and the creative nature of this company, they don't seem to evolve. And that's my problem with this place. WWE has struggled too, but their issue is they're putting on way too many events and it's stunning the creative process and it's leading to lazy booking and stuff. The problem here is they have like 6 weeks to get to Forbidden Door, but you could start the road and have some substantive build to get to these shows. Instead, you're choosing to just put mindless matches out there with no creativity and doing the same principles that you've done for weeks and months on end. So when is it going to change? Because until I see that, I don't have like I have they're going to be fine. They're going to be able to survive and move through this. But until they change some of these principles, like I don't see any way for them to evolve and improve and grow their audience. It's an alternative. I get that. But that doesn't mean that you have to do the same shit every single week. There's no story or no rhyme or reason to any of this. You're just throwing people in a match and hoping the story tells itself in a match. That's not how weekly episodic television should work. You're coming off of your biggest show of the year. You're coming off of WrestleMania. How would WWE? I remember killing WWE night after WrestleManias, several of the recent ones under Vince McMahon, because they had no direction, no foresight, no relevance to what happened at WrestleMania. And I hated those shows because you wanted surprises, you wanted new twists, you wanted new turns. And the way that this card screamed, Hangman's still fighting with the Death Riders. You've got a bunch of people on the card just getting thrown into random matches. You got 4 women from the Gauntlet just getting thrown into it, 2 separate feuds, rather than, building one of the stories off of that and setting off into a new angle. Like this just, like I said, they have no plan. They have no plan whatsoever. It's just throw shit out there and hope that it sticks. Hope that throw a dart at the dartboard, hope you hit a bullseye. And I don't doubt that any of these matches won't be good. That's always been a strength of this company, but it just comes across as incredibly lazy and just reeking of something of a company that doesn't have a plan or any vision. It's just, hey, we're the best wrestle. We're just going to throw our wrestlers out there and wrestle, which, I get, but at the same time, you've got to have an identity and you have some sort of vision about what you want your show to be now, really after, the season finale that happened at All in Texas. And I don't see that here. So we'll see how it goes coming on in around an hour here. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.